Hey guys, it's Brian at Sign Me Up Designs again, and today I'm going to try to put this 2013 Harley Davidson Tour Pack and this 2014 Harley Davidson Tour Pack quick release bracket on this 2011 Yamaha Stryker. So if you've never seen this motorcycle before, go back and check my other video on the full build breakdown of this 2011 Yamaha Stryker. We put Harley Davidson bags on it, put a 26-inch wheel on it, front and rear air ride, speakers, Bluetooth stereo. So go back and check that video out first. That'll kind of give you an idea of what we're going to do today with this tour pack. So the whole reason behind doing this tour pack is that the wife wants a backrest on this thing, and I refuse to do just a backrest. We're going to have to modify it, so we might as well do something kind of cool. And the cool thing is that this tour pack is going to be removable, so we could easily take it off and on if she does or doesn't want it for that particular ride. So the question some of you guys might be asking is, why did I get a 2014 bracket kit with a 2013 tour pack? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The bracket for the 2014 looks way better than the 2013 bracket, and the tour pack for the 2013 and down is actually a little bit sleeker, a little bit narrower than the 2014s, and I just think it's going to fit on that bike way better. So let's talk price. This whole bike was built kind of on a budget, and I don't want to spend a whole bunch of big money on, you know, really nice high-end tour pack parts. And if this does work, the cool thing is I could always change this tour pack out later on. The most important part is to get this Harley Davidson quick release bracket to work on that Yamaha fender. But just in case you're wondering, all in for the tour pack and the bracket kit, we're into it for just under 300 bucks. This is a black ABS plastic, kind of a painted already plastic that should match the color on the bike pretty good. If not, we'll worry about painting it later on, but I think for now it's going to match pretty close. So I'm going to get this thing set up a little bit better, but one quick thing that I do notice whenever I go to put this bracket on here is that obviously this thing is way too narrow to fit where the factory brackets are for the fenders. And those two little Allen heads right there, and then there and there are where we're going to have to mount this bracket to here. So what we're going to have to do is we're probably going to have to take this plate, cut it in the middle, and section out a piece, maybe 2 or 3 inches wide, so that way that these brackets here can fit where the factory fender mounts are for the Stryker. So this tour pack actually came with a pretty cool little backrest here too. We're going to have to modify this as well because I'm not a big fan of this little dangly thing. I'm not really sure what that's even for. Maybe a lower pad, maybe for more cushion for the rear passenger. I'm not sure, but the good news is it's just kind of stapled into here, so we can just pop those out. Now the interesting thing is these are the mounting brackets that came with this seat. Now this backrest was shipped in the same box as this tour pack, so you would assume that it would bolt right on, but we've only got 2 bolts here vertical, and then this backrest is supposed to mount like this, which obviously that's not going to work. We're probably going to have to do some pretty serious modifying to get this backrest to properly sit on this tour pack. Alright, so I got the saddlebags off here. My idea is to get a piece of cardboard and kind of trace out where the factory fender bolts go in and kind of just get an idea of the factory fender mount locations are, and then trace it onto this piece of cardboard here, and then kind of get an idea of where I want to put the Harley Davidson mounts in relation to this. So my idea is to make a template out of this cardboard and then transfer that to a piece of metal and maybe get my plasma cutter and see if I can kind of make one look halfway decent. Alright, so I got my little template here, and I got a piece of 1/8 inch thick steel flat bar here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around with a marker or something, and then I'm going to cut it out with my plasma cutter and then smooth it out and make this cardboard template into an actual bracket. Another real quick side note is obviously I've got a lot of motorcycles in here, and I'm really a big fan of making stuff work for things that it's not supposed to work with. So if this is something that you guys might want to do to your Stryker, let me know down in the comments, because I might make an investment into some machinery that might be able to cut some brackets that'll make this a bolt-on situation versus me having to weld and fabricate stuff for you guys. If you guys want to do this to your bike, maybe buy a kit from me and just bolt it right on. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Alright guys, here we go. Man, did those things turn out nice or what? I know they're kind of rough. They're rough cuts. Obviously, they're not as clean as like a CNC table would do. But here's the template, and then here's the bracket. I mean, that thing is almost perfect. So these little marks that I have here are where the bolt holes are going to be. So all I need to do is just make sure the template is correct on both of the metal pieces here and drill them out to the right size, and it's going to be absolutely perfect to go back on this thing. So let's get these things stamped out and let's get to the drill press. All right, check it out, guys. We're making progress. We got them drilled out and everything lined up exactly where it's supposed to go. So now let's get the holes drilled for the Harley Davidson bracket. All right, check it out, y'all. I got the first bracket done. So I know it looks pretty close to the seat, and it is, but I did that on purpose because I don't want this thing to stick up really high. I want it to be kind of low profile. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. So this is how this works. You just pop this little thing here. It's the same as the Harley Davidson. You pop this, and then this turns, and if the tour pack was mounted, it would go up. Well, there we go. It would go up and then off just like that. And then to go back on, it just slides here, and then bang, just like that. Yeah, get down. It's a lot easier if you have a tour pack on it, but just like that, and it's secure. It's not going anywhere. So quick release, that's what it'll look like with the tour pack on. If I decide I don't want the tour pack anymore, I just pop it off, and it's just a clean little bracket. All right, let's do the other side. All right, guys, next day I got both the brackets mounted up here, and it's looking really good right now. What I need to do now is cut the piece that goes across from here to here, and I need to widen it because these are actually, obviously a little bit wider. The Stryker rear fender is a little bit wider than the Harley Davidson rear fenders. So obviously this wasn't made for a Stryker, so we got to extend this plate out just a little bit so we can have enough mounting space to get the tour pack mounted to this bracket. All right, fast forward a little bit. We cut this thing down the middle. I actually messed up on this one a little bit, but we'll just add a little bit bigger piece of metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the flat bar that we used earlier, and I'm going to extend these out about 3 inches. So let me go ahead and cut some pieces and we'll get it welded up. All right, so I made my middle spacer plate there. I'm going to start with this one first, and I'm just going to kind of tack it to one side, and then I'm going to make sure my holes from here to here are the same distance from there to there, just to make sure this is all squared up nice and good. And then I'm going to run a couple just bead welds. I'm not going to I'm just going to do a little bit like a quarter inch line. It's isn't super structural, so I don't need to run a full bead all the way down. On the ends I probably will, but just a couple little beads over here. So let me get this tacked up, and we'll measure it out, and then we'll get these plates cut, and then run the full weld. All right, so here's the finished product. You might be wondering why I left these ends a little bit long. Well, that's just because they were a little bit too small to put into the bandsaw. So I'm just going to kind of grind these down and maybe run a cutoff wheel, but smooth them out. So once this is all done, this will all be smoothed in and look really good. I mean, the structure seems to be pretty solid. I don't think I'm going to weld. I might run a couple welds. on the front too, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. But for the most part, this thing is going to be pretty structurally sound. All right, guys, I'd say we did it. You can pick this thing apart, but all in all, I think it's pretty solid because you're not going to even see this piece at all. I cut all these ends off and I kind of ground everything down. I did go ahead and fully weld all the way across here and here, and then smooth it back down too. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. Well, check it out, guys. We definitely did it. This thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. And I mean, honestly, I think it's pretty secure. So next step, we're going to take this back off and mount the tour pack. All right, so I had my wife come out here and sit on the bike and kind of get an idea of where she likes to backrest. And I was able to go put some paint marks underneath the bottom of the tour pack to kind of see where to drill the new holes out. So this actually is, again, this is for a 2013 and down, which takes the circular style bracket that's supposed to sit in these grooves. I don't like it. I don't like that style bracket. I think it looks ugly. I think the 2014 and up looks way cooler. But I'm not worried about where these sit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some spacers to kind of space it out where it's supposed to be this way, get it level to the bracket, and then I'm going to take it back and drill the other two holes wherever they happen to line up. All right, guys, this is the next day here. I finally got the tour pack mounted to the bracket. Everything's good to go there. Full disclosure, I did have to make a new bracket like this. The old bracket looked something kind of like this, but I actually had to take it back about another 4 inches. So this is the new template that I made, and I made some new brackets. And the only reason was because I had the tour pack mounted too far forward, and my wife couldn't sit on there comfortably. She was a little bit too close to me. So I moved everything back 4 inches and used a different bracket instead of this one. Okay, so everything's mounted up. Let's go ahead and get this thing and see if it fits on the bike. I guess it's just that simple. I think it's pretty solid. Might still bounce a little bit going down the road, but that's okay. See how easy it is to get off. Just that easy. And there you have it. Alright, I originally wasn't going to film this part, but I decided what the hell, I'll go ahead and film it too. Alright, so what I've done is I've decided to go ahead and make a template for the bottom of this tour pack. I'm going to take this template and I'm going to trace it around this piece of 5.2 millimeter Luan plywood. It seems rigid enough, but lightweight to where it won't really rattle around back there. So my plan is to take the piece of wood, carpet it, drill some holes, and then use these bolts with some little castle nuts here, whatever you call them, dome nuts, and secure it down so where the wood doesn't move around in here, so it'll give me a nice flat surface. All right, we got the template cut out with this plywood here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black carpet, this is like speaker box carpet, and I'm going to use some of this super adhesive trim spray deal. I'm going to spray it on there, and I'm going to set this template on there and just kind of wrap this thing on there. So that side needs to go like that, and we're going to wrap this thing around there, and I'm just going to kind of try to razor blade as close as I can to the edge, and then it should be good to go to fit down in there. So let's get going. That may have been a bit overkill. Man, am I glad I did that. Look how much cleaner that looks. Got this nice little dome castellated nuts on the top there, and it just looks extremely, extremely clean. What's that number 2 for? Anybody have an idea? It's up there too, on that thing, right there. Maybe something with the mold, who knows? But this looks clean. I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's a little bit of a thin spot right here, but I'm gonna have stuff back here anyway. Also, that piece of wood adds a nice layer of rigidity too, for this thing to kind of like keep from ripping through the plastic. So for now, we're done with this tour pack. Do it for today, guys. I hope you liked this video. I hope it kind of gave you some information about how to do this if you have a Stryker yourself. If you want to see any more information on this bike, check out the full build video that I will link in the description. Also, if you want to check out any of these bikes that I have back here, if anything looks cool to you, I have a video on every single one of those. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if you thought it was helpful, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram too if you want to get kind of an inside scoop on what happens before I post to YouTube. With all that being said, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.